And welcome to another edition of Hornet Football Weekly. We've got a good show for you, and we're glad you could join us here on the studios at Sacramento State. And today we've got the big show, as we said, a look back at the win against Cal Poly, a look ahead to the game this weekend against Montana State. We've got our player of the week, and our sports spotlight is baseball. Reggie Christensen will stop by, but we bring in the head coach, Marshall Spurbeck. Coach, first off, congratulations. What a win over undefeated Cal Poly this week.
It really was a hard-fought game by both teams, and we're very fortunate to come away with a victory over a top-ranked team, and very excited.
I know we'll get into the details of the game later in the show, but for me, I've done a lot of your games over the years. It was an emotional night. When you guys were arm in arm, linked, walking out, I mean, it was powerful, really powerful. You had the Bloomfield family there. Just emotionally, the whole night, it's been so emotional, I know, for everybody. What was that like for you guys?
Well, it was a nice way to pay tribute to the family, and it was really special for our players, I think, to have Mr. Bloomfield come into the locker room before the game and give a few words, and just to have his presence there on a night that really was about JB and the Bloomfield family for us.
And in the end, you guys get a win. You get some honors too. You just miss out on the top 25, but receiving 26 basically in the polls. Garrett Saffron named Big Sky co-offensive player of the week. So you guys know it. You play well, you'll get rewarded.
Yeah, and we got another tough game this week. Montana State comes in with one loss and ranked number 3 in the country, and our guys are excited about the opportunity to play another top Big Sky Conference team.
And I know you have to love the fact that that's at home. I mean, you guys have established some things, certainly on the road, but at home too. Another good crowd this last week. I'm sure it'll be another big crowd this week, but playing at home is, I'm sure, you've really got to establish that as people not wanting to come into Hornet Stadium and play you guys.
Yeah, our crowds have been better, and I think they're getting a little bit more excited throughout the course of the game, creating a home field advantage for us, and those things are important. But more than anything, it's you got to win your games at home in this conference. It's so tough to win on the road, and when you get the opportunity to play at home, you got to be able to capitalize on it.
And to help illustrate that, I know you're not ever really caught up in stats, but 4 of the last 5 times you guys have been at home against a ranked team, you've knocked them off. You have that challenge again. But, I mean, that says something when you're playing high-quality teams here, you're beating them.
Well, I don't know all those stats, but I do know that we won our last game at home, and we'd like to win our next one. And we are going to prepare this week very hard and intent, and we're excited about it, like I said earlier, and it's just a great opportunity for us to play another good football team.
Well, it was a great win over Cal Poly. We'll discuss that when we come back. We've got some great highlights of the win. That's straight ahead here on Hornet Football Weekly. Well, it was a great Saturday for the Sacramento State Hornets as they took on undefeated Cal Poly. They were ranked number 11. They're not ranked number 11 anymore after a Hornet victory. And, Coach, you guys made it difficult. It's not a good idea to spot an undefeated team 10 points. Take us through that beginning part of the game where you guys are kind of moving the ball in the first drive, fumble. The next time you touch it, you fumble. It's not the hole I'm sure you guys were looking at having happen there.
No, it wasn't. And I think our guys just came out so excited to play and with all the emotion involved in the game and coming out and having the ball first, which we haven't had, in a lot of games this season. I just think we were a little bit too excited, and the ball got away from us, and we settled ourselves down and got back on track and really did a nice job the rest of the evening.
So is something said at that point, or is it just kind of the guys know?
You know, I think they did, but I did gather the offense on the sidelines and just reassured them that, hey, they haven't stopped you. You're doing a great job. We've got a good plan in effect here. Just keep playing and protect the football. And they know, and they went back out and took care of business, and we went on a nice drive after the second fumble and went down and scored.
All right, let's go through some of the highlights of this game. First off, defensively was going to be important because Cal Poly can move the football, number 3 in the nation in running, and here J.C. Toddy gets in. And, I mean, you said it, Coach, you just had to stay disciplined against these guys.
Well, I think what we did a really nice job with was staying on the line of scrimmage and really getting defenders to the option. And I think to stop the option, you have to be so disciplined, and you start taking yourself out of position by getting upfield too much. It can really hurt you. And Coach Parker and our defensive staff really did a nice job of getting our kids ready to play.
All right, our next highlight here is of your offense again. Morris Norris had a big day. A couple of touchdowns. This one was an amazing catch in the back of the end zone.
Unbelievable grab. I didn't think he had it until the ref put both hands up there. But we're always harping on those guys about get both hands on the ball. That'll be an exception there as far as getting away with one for Mo. But really a great catch.
How about Garrett's game? We talked last week. He had the injured left hand, stitches in his right hand. And here he is, Big Sky Co-Offensive Player of the Week. Had some record numbers for him, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, just a great game. I mean, he completed over 80% of his throws and really did a good job of managing the game and being aware of situations and really seeing him just develop as a quarterback as far as his maturity and how he handles a game and knowing when to take checkdowns and know where to go with the ball at the right time. And he's really coming along, and we're glad we have him.
All right, that's your quarterback. Their quarterback is Andre Brodus, a pretty good runner. Had to throw some, wasn't as effective, but your next play here is from your defense, showing some pressure on him. Not an easy guy to get to, but you finally got to him here.
Well, they only threw 10 times during the game, and I think they completed 4. We knew if they got into these situations that we would be able to turn them loose and go and get them because they don't pass block a lot, and so they were in a situation they're not comfortable with. And our guys are pretty good at getting the quarterback, and they proved that again on Saturday.
Did you guys have to play different personnel defensively because of what they did?
No, we played with our same guys.
Yeah.
We did move Todd into the middle a little bit to take advantage of his speed and lined him up a little bit deeper than maybe usual. But there's a couple subtle things that we did defensively, but nothing really out of the ordinary. Probably the biggest thing we did was just simplify things to let our kids just turn loose and play.
All right, we were talking about Garrett earlier, how accurate he was. Here's another touchdown. This is a great throw to another weapon. Here's a freshman, Shane Harrison, on a gorgeous throw.
You know, Shane had the one at the other end zone that he almost had. He had it, and I thought it was a catch, but he ended up dropping it at the end. That was a wonderful route that he gave himself some room on the sideline so Garrett could put the ball there, and just a nice route all the way around by Shane.
And for you and the coaching staff, the reward of playing some young guys, some freshmen, and them producing. I mean, what does that do for you guys in your confidence in these young guys?
Well, I think it builds confidence as you go through the season. These guys aren't freshmen anymore. Now that they're in the later part of the year, they've had almost a full season to develop and to play. And all of them, I mean, we go up and down our roster. I mean, there's so many redshirt freshmen and sophomores playing that are contributing that, it's just nice each week to see their improvement and hope it continues as we finish out.
All right, let's go to your running game, too, something you guys have done well all season long. Here's Ezekiel Graham with just a great touchdown up the middle, about a 15-yarder here for Ezekiel.
Yeah, they had a little blitz on there, and Ezekiel just missed the defender coming from the outside, just misses Ezekiel, and he's so darn fast that he's able to sneak through, and it was a nice run.
So again, you were down 10-0. You built a halftime lead of 28-17, and then you're starting to get some plays too made defensively. Our next one here is a forced fumble where I actually thought McMahon might finish the deal. Eventually, it was a penalty here, but another good play by the defense.
Yeah, it's a great hit right there. Jeff Badger knocks the ball loose, and Ryan's right there on the spot, and I thought he was going to score too. He had the blocker. He kind of outran his blockers there. And then, unfortunately, we had the penalty back. One of our guys just trying to help and make a play, and just fortunate to get the ball back and keep it away from them.
All right, we're going to focus into the defense again one more time here because, like you said, they didn't throw much, just 10 or 11 times. But when they threw in third and long, it was a lot, probably easier, more predictable. And here you guys get a sack here on the next play when that's not what Cal Poly does well.
Right, and I think we had 3 sacks on the 10 pass attempts they had, and our guys, like I said earlier, they like getting after the quarterback, and we dial up some pretty good pressures when we get the opportunity to, and to get them in passing situations allows you to have some success. They don't like being in those third and longs.
Yeah. And then finally, Cal Poly wasn't going away either. I mean, this is an undefeated team for a reason, so you needed one more score. The last one was a pass interference. Of course, you declined it because Morris Norris with this another unbelievable catch.
Yeah, this is a nice throw. Garrett gives him a chance. He pretty much ends up being man coverage, and Mo comes down with the ball. And what a great night for Mo. I mean, he just played well. I think he ended up with 7 or 8 catches, and they all seemed to come at critical times when we needed one.
Well, speaking of Morris Norris, he's going to join us next. He's going to be our player of the week on quite a week for him and quite a week for the Hornets as well. So we'll have our player of the week. That's coming up next here on Hornet Football Weekly.
What light does gets in your head. You can't avoid it. You can't escape it. Because what light does weighs on you. Do what light does in the 7.9-ounce Audi 05 Star.
All right, back here on Hornet Football Weekly, it's time to bring in our Player of the Week. Joining us here on the set, along with Marshall Spurbeck, is wide receiver Morris Norris. Congratulations on being our Player of the Week. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me here.
Well, we're going to ask you a little bit about football coming up in a moment, but tell us a little bit about your background. You've been with the team for 3 years. What are you studying on campus?
I'm a communications major.
Okay, and it's third year coming from Berkeley. What made you pick Sacramento State?
Coach Spurbeck and all the coaching staff, they made me feel welcome when I came, you know, and they gave me, they told me I was going to have an opportunity to play wide receiver, so that made me make my decision.
That was the right answer, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mo and I had an extended conversation a couple days before signing day, and really had to put the full court press on him, and was able to convince him to come at the last minute, and I'm glad he did. He's really worked out well for us.
Obviously, you've got to love it, Coach, because here's a guy that has really played meaningful reps since his first year. Now in his third year, has moved up to number 2 all-time in receptions. I mean, how important has Mo been to the team and to the offense?
Well, first of all, off the field and in the locker room, Mo brings a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. He's got a good personality. He's always keeping the guys loose, and he plays the game that way. And you know, he loves playing, and he competes hard, and he has fun while he's doing it.
So tell us how you do that. I mean, you guys look like a team that has fun, a team that plays together. But how are you doing that? How are you trying to loosen the guys up?
Just knowing when to give a good joke or knowing when to stay serious. So you know, if everything's still tense, you know, just say something to loosen everybody up. You know, give a good laugh, have somebody laugh here and there. So that's how I try to get.
And it's working, Coach. Because
I think Mo usually checks with me first to get the gauge on whether he should crack one of those jokes or not. But his timing's usually pretty good. He knows when to and when not.
Well, we've got a lot of, speaking of timing, some great catches from this last week. Congratulations, too, by the way, on a great win against Cal Poly. Let's look at some touchdowns that you had, a couple in this game. The first one of my favorite catches of the year. Tell us about this one. It's in the back of the end zone. You've got 2 hands, but you only need 1, right, Mo, on this catch?
Well, actually, if you watch it, Coach Prado got on me because I ran a bad route. It was supposed to be a slant go, so I just had to make the play. I couldn't come back empty-handed, so I had to go up and grab it.
Well, if it's a mistake, it worked out, Coach.
That's right. If you're gonna break a rule, make a play.
That's what they always tell me.
Yeah, he made it. That was a heck of a catch. It was, you know, and we talked the week before on the show about the difference in the EWU game. You know, was their playmaking ability, and I think when you play in these tough games, close games, that's what you need is some guys to make some extraordinary plays, and that was a play right there that I think separates in that type of a close game.
All right, we've got another one from you here, Mo. It's kind of an out route, and Garrett, I don't know, he was just on. It seemed like his passes were pinpoint this last week.
Yeah, everything. He just, no matter where I was, he was gonna hit me. You know, he was precise with all his passes. If it was his check downs or if it was his over top throws, he was hitting everything.
I know we've had a couple of trick plays in the past, Coach, where Mo throws the ball a little bit. Is that it's always in the playbook, isn't it?
Trust me, Mo's been asking about it. It's getting late in the season. Yeah. We haven't been able to test his arm out yet, so you never know. It could be coming.
How much are you talking about that every week? Coach Peterson, Coach Spurbeck, give me that throwing play.
Me and Coach Spurbeck, I can say we talk about it at least 3 or 4 times a week. You know, at practice, you just while we're in special teams, you know, I try to give it, throw passes to him just to show off my arm a little bit.
He dropped 3. I have to give him credit. He dropped 3 50-yarders right on me the other day.
Is that right?
Put my hands up and hit me right there.
Nice.
So I don't doubt that he's ready whenever called upon.
Speaking of special teams, you kind of got thrown into the fire when DeAndre got hurt as a return man. You've done pretty well back there as a punt returner. How do you like returning punts?
I like it. You know, I get to use my moves and show off some of my shaking ability. So I like it back there. It's a little scary sometimes, and I got to work on my ball security. You know, Coach Spurbeck stays on me about that.
Yeah. I could tell the look you're giving him right now, Coach. I could tell. Well, let's look at the second touchdown, kind of the backbreaker against Cal Poly. This is an unbelievable catch. It's a PI, but you still catch it. Tell us about this play.
I was just going, trying to stay focused on the ball and I know we needed a score, so it was like they threw it to me. They called my number, so I was like, I have to make the play.
Yeah, and a 2-touchdown day. Garrett, in fact, was named Big Sky Co-Offensive Player of the Week. He had a big day. Mo had a big day. Offense had a big day.
really a good game plan by our offensive staff and Coach Peterson, and I thought the kids did a real nice job of going out and being patient with it and executing it, and especially, you know, early on getting down 10-0 to be able to bounce back and get into a good rhythm for really the rest of the night.
And Mo, as far as the team goes, it looks like you guys are having a blast. Have had some great wins. What's it like being a part of this team? You've been on 2 others, but this year's group, as the season still has a couple more games.
We're winning. You know, that makes everything better. And,
Yeah.
you know, we keep winning, it's gonna keep getting better. So it's like it's a lot of the same guys, you know, and it's just we got more chemistry now too. Like everybody's had time to build with each other. So it's all coming together.
Well, let's see some of those moves this weekend against Montana State. Thanks for coming by and congratulations.
All right, thank you.
All right, speaking of Montana State, we'll talk about that with Coach Spurbeck as we preview the game coming up on Saturday here on Hornet Football Weekly. Well, we told you a couple of weeks ago the last part of the schedule is going to be pretty difficult for the Sacramento State Hornets. You were able to navigate through it last week with a great win against Cal Poly, and now you get another highly ranked team, Montana State, in the top 5. Coach, I mean, your conference is loaded. I don't know if there's upsets in the conference because there's a lot of good teams, yourself included, but you bring on the Bobcats, another major challenge this week for you guys.
Yeah, it is, and they're a good football team. They're very balanced on offense. Their defense probably presents us with the best front 7 that we've seen all year. So it's another opportunity to play a tough Big Sky team, and like we've proven the last couple of weeks, our guys are up for that challenge and looking forward to playing the game on Saturday. All
right, let's get some footage of what Montana State does well. Defense is probably their primary thing, but if they have a more than capable offense, let's look at their running game too, because they've got a couple of different running backs. Cody Kirk here, he catches a screen from a Denarius McGee, but they can hurt you in a lot of different ways offensively.
Yeah, Cody's a big, strong back, and he played for him last year and had a good season. And I think he missed a couple games early on there and got healed up during their bye week and came back last week and was very productive again for them. So he's a good player. And they have a lot of good players, and you know, we just got to play good team football like we've done the last couple of weeks, and we should be in good shape.
I know you don't always look at last year's film when you played a team, but does it help your defensive guys that they've seen Denarius McGee, they've seen Cody Kirk? I mean, does that help them?
I think so, and I think when you play in the conference and you have continuity in staffs, that you do get a feel for what your opponent's going to do, and there's a little bit of a comfort level there comparing to not having played a team.
All right, let's go to more highlights here, too, of their run game, because this is a team, again, I mean, especially at home, but they've been good on the road, too. I mean, they've got a balanced record, only 1 loss, but, again, your run defense was tested last week. It'll be tested again.
Yeah, and the thing that they do is these guys want to stay balanced. They want to run the ball and get you into good passing situations, and they're a good mix of, you know, their play action. They'll throw the ball down the field, and we just got to, you know, like we say every week, we got to put a good plan together. The plan will be a lot different than the one last week, obviously, but nevertheless, we got to go to work and make sure that our kids buy into it, and we have a good Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice.
All right, let's look at another run from them. But as I ask you about this highlight, their quarterback can run. How much does Denarius, he's not running here, but how much does he run?
I think he runs best when he has to run. You know, they don't have a lot of designed quarterback runs for him, but what he does really well is, you know, on a read option, he'll decide to keep one on you, and when he's in the pocket and he gets flushed out one way or the other, he'll make you pay for it by picking up 10 yards when it's 3rd and 9. And he does a real good job of understanding the game and the situation and knowing what he needs to do.
As far as the defense, now, I mean, you mentioned the front 7. What challenges is that going to present to you guys as an offense?
Well, like we do every week, we got to be able to run the football, and we got to be able to get out there and establish the line of scrimmage. And our offensive line will have a big challenge this week as far as going and doing that. And I think it's important that we do a good job of setting that tone early on and being able to establish ourselves at the line of scrimmage. And that's really one of our goals every week.
You mentioned your offensive line. I think they've done a fantastic job. You didn't have one of your key guys, Vince Weaver, last week, but Garrett really didn't get he got pressured some, but he had the time. And how about your offensive line, what they've done for you this year?
I think Coach Riley's done a really nice job of bringing that group together. We have 2 freshman tackles playing, and Devontae Martin has been playing the whole year for us. It was just a fairly new starter. So I think we've gelled well, and that's really important with that group because there's 5 moving parts. They got to trust each other. They got to play together. They got to get a feel for the game, and I think we're really done a nice job in our pass protection in particular. I think we're second or third as far as giving up the least amount of sacks on the year.
Well, they'll all be tested, that's for sure, this weekend against Montana State. We're going to change gears when we come back. We still have another segment with the coach, but when we come back, we'll focus in on Hornets baseball with our Sports Spotlight. That's coming up here on Hornet Football Weekly.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around?
That's why we present people with options, to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there?
It's a new Maze record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
Back here on Hornet Football Weekly, it's time now to focus in on our Hornet Sports Spotlight. And this week, we talk a little baseball as we bring in the head coach of the baseball team, Reggie Christensen. Reggie, 3rd year for you now coming into the program. How do you top from worst to first? That's a tough one to top, what you did last year.
Yeah, our guys are trying to come up with a new slogan for this year, but we're definitely very excited about coming off a year that we had a year ago and looking forward to finishing first again this year.
And some historic things you did last year as a team, making the conference tournament, finishing first, so close, and a lot of guys coming back. So what does that do for you as the season's about to start?
I had a coaching friend of mine told me at the end of the year we had a great year. He said sometimes you have to knock at the door before you get a chance to open the door, and I think our guys did that last year. We're 8 outs away 2 days in a row. Fresno State was just a little better than we were. But I think that, that experience that our guys had last year is only going to help us this year.
Now, one thing you guys did and did very well last year was fielding, and it obviously seems like a point of emphasis for you. You finished 5th in fielding percentages. Is that something very important to you and your team?
Absolutely. It's pitching and defense. You look at what the Giants just did in the World Series. Their pitching and defense carried them all the way and had some timely hits at the end with guys like Scudero, but pitching and defense is what our team's made up of for sure.
And then you, as the coach of this team, reigning WAC Coach of the Year last year, what is it like knowing that you've had last year's experience, you've got the guys that we mentioned coming back, just to know that your team is capable of that and probably trying to push them further?
Well, I just think it's a much more comfortable environment for our guys. They understand what we did last year. We won't necessarily carry over this year until we, day in and day out, one day at a time in the weight room on the field, and make sure that we make continued progress each and every day. But it's a much different atmosphere with our guys because they believe they have something to hold on to, and they're just excited for that first weekend at the University of Texas.
Now, before you get there, you kind of have to prepare, and we know baseball's a year-round deal. You guys just finished up some fall ball in your fall World Series, is that right?
That's right. We just finished up this last Saturday. The series was actually tied 2-2. We had a rain out last Wednesday, the one day of the fall that we got a rain. So we only were able to play 4 games. We'll play a 5th game in January when we come back to kind of decide it all. But all in all, it was a very good fall.
And then you guys officially get started in February, but you get a few hours a week, right, to kind of keep guys ready to get going here in February, right?
Yeah, for the most part, our guys will be in the weight room with our strength coach, Kyle Aber, does a tremendous job with our guys. And we'll be in the weight room, strength and conditioning, and 2 hours a week with our guys, baseball related.
All right, we've talked about your pitching a little bit and your defense, which is so important to any team. You referenced it earlier, but how about the offense? Reese Hoskins, what is he going to mean to your lineup after the year he had and now going forward?
Yeah, Reese Hoskins was first-team All-American by every publication. One of the best hitters in our league, one of the best hitters in the country as a sophomore. Our lineup, will be built around Reese, whether he hits 3rd or 4th, but there's a lot of guys that I think will fit nicely in and around him, but our offense is going to go through Reese for sure.
And then how about schedule overall? I know the WAC traditionally has been tough. You guys did very well in it last year. If you evaluated your league competition, what would you say you're looking at as your main competition?
I think schools in the Texas schools, Texas State, Dallas Baptist, those 2 pop up right away. Dallas Baptist was in NCAA tournament 3 out of the last 4 years. Texas State has a very strong program. So those will be the 2 schools to beat, I believe, in our league in 2013.
Now, baseball's always had a good program here under John Smith. You were here 2 years under him. Now you're in your 3rd year. You start to win now. Is that starting to take its hold, too, in recruiting players?
No question. I mean, we kind of have a philosophy, a 50-mile radius rule with our recruiting, and we're trying to garner the best kids in that 50-mile radius, and it's starting to come to light here in the last couple of years.
Well, congratulations on last year. I'm already going to congratulate you on this year. I know it's going to be a good year for you guys.
We're looking forward to it.
All right, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, that's Reggie Christensen. We will take the break, come back, wrap things up with Marshall Spurbeck after this on Hornet Football Weekly.
Sacramento State basketball tickets are available now. Call 278-2222.
Sacramento State with an amazing shot. Dylan Garrity. Well, if he can do that, then you can burn the 35. Dixon fading away. Here's a bomb. 3, good. 3-pointer good by Joe Eberhard. Leaves it to Connor. Connor slams it in with authority with 2 hands.
Call 278-2222.
All right, time for our final segment. We welcome back Marshall Spurbeck here on the set. Again, our thanks to Reggie Christensen, Morris Norris for joining us here too, Coach. I think Mo's got a future in this, Coach. He was impressive.
He was a little nervous coming in, but once we got him on the set, he's a natural. He seemed to adapt pretty quickly.
Well, let's talk about this weekend. 4 o'clock, we should let everybody know, too. We want to get a ton of Hornet fans out there. They've been showing some great support. And an important day, too, salute to the seniors, their last home game this weekend.
That's always a special day. Their families come out with them, and we get a chance to recognize each one of them individually, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Is this a week where, I don't know, if a senior has to get up and speak, or they feel compelled to say something? This is the last time they're taking the field here at home.
We offer them that opportunity. How many of them take advantage of them, we'll have to see.
Yeah, again, that one's coming up this weekend, but 4 o'clock. The Green Army's going to be there, the Hornet Nation. I mean, it's been fun. You guys hopefully can keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, just it all comes down to practice. We got to have a good week, and our preparation needs to be effective and show up Saturday ready to go.
And we should let everybody know, too. I know next week's a bye week, but we'll be back here. We'll have another edition and hopefully talking about a Hornet win.
Let's do it.
All right, that's the coach, Marshall Spurbeck. Again, our thanks to Reggie Christensen, Morris Norris for Marshall Spurbeck. I'm Jason Ross. Join us again next week for another edition of Hornet Football Weekly. Again, remember, game time this week, 4 o'clock at Hornet Stadium.